Welcome back for another video. Final thoughts and FPL tips for Gameweek 36, answering the most popular questions that you sent in, and a final look at my team afterwards. First question from David. He says, if you're chasing, who are the risky / high upside picks this week? I mean, there's still loads of high upside picks that aren't risky, so yeah, if you've got your eyes set on a rank target or a mini league leader, then this will be particularly helpful for you. Though I guess you might fancy some of the shouts here anyway. So Wood, although his ownership looks high at 29.4%, that's overall, and in the top 100k for example, it's so much lower. Like top 10k, he's about 3% owned Wood, which shows just how differential he actually is. So I mean, Captain Wood against Leicester is really high upside this week. Shadow against Ipswich is really nice, he's a massive differential. And Cunha overall's got 3 decent final fixtures, so he's a strong choice. He's got Brighton home this week, but yeah, of course the most common choice right now is Wissa. So Cunha and Wood are ways to differentiate there. Wissa is the most bought forward this week. In Gameweek 37, Palmer I honestly feel is a massive opportunity, and I know some of you aren't going to hear me out there, but he's been getting rested in Europa as well, and he's been looking so much sharper as of late. And that game week, he's home to what's going to be Man United's B team before the Europa League final. And he's got Spurs in Gameweek 38 as well, who would have played that final a few days before. So don't sleep on Palmer just yet. I think Saka in Gameweek 38 also deserves a mention as well. Facing bottom of the league Southampton, he's got nothing else to play for, so he should get good minutes. Ho Jutson asks if we can get the rank update. Yeah, good idea. We've not looked at this for a few weeks. So these are the rank thresholds in the leaderboards and how many points are required for each rank. So yeah, while I'm rambling here, go check how many points you're on, and you can benchmark yourself to how far other ranks are ahead of you. 2,423 points is top 10k, 2,371 is top 50k, 2,343 is top 100k, 2,252 top 500k, and 2,194 is top 1 million. While we're talking about rank, let us know in the comments what's your current rank and what's your end of season target, and are you happy with how this season has gone, or are you hoping to do better in 25-26? The table here is from Live FPL, by the way. Credit to them for that. DRS asks about Harland. So is it time to buy Harland again? Southampton next as well. The thing is, every time a player gets injured, or at least a longer term injury, the typical trend is they ease back in the first game before going back to regular starts. So to me, logic says there's a decent chance he doesn't start next game week in my eyes. He was named on the bench of course, but unused substitute. Pep's going to want him ready for the FA Cup final, so it's not out of the question for him to start and get like an hour, but the likeliest outcome is probably a cameo off the bench. They do have the joint early kickoff, so there is a decent chance that we know in the deadline stream who starts and who doesn't for Man City. So yeah, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the stream on Saturday morning. A quick look at the scout selection for Gameweek 36. So they've gone with Sales in goal, Vardiol, Aït-Nouri and Sessegnon in defence, Salah, De Bruyne and Mbeumo and Elanga in midfield, Marmoush, Wood and Wissa up front, with Frank assistant manager against Ipswich. It's a really solid team this week. I probably wouldn't be buying Sessegnon now in all likelihood, but he's a fun pick if you're on a free hit this week. But yeah, if you are on a free hit, I mean triple City, triple Forest and triple Brentford is a really solid core for this week. Nothing else I'd change it really besides Sessegnon, maybe for someone a bit more reliable for 60 plus minutes. Let's take a look at the Gameweek 36 projected goals and clean sheet odds to build a good idea of which attacks could do well, and likewise who might keep a clean sheet. So Man City, 2.9 projected goals is top of all teams. Unsurprising really, given they're against rock bottom Southampton. And then it's Forest with 2.25 against Leicester, and then it's Brentford 2.2 against Ipswich. So yeah, it's pretty obvious that, you know, KDB, Wood, and Mbeumo, Wissa, popular transfers this week to target those potentially high scoring games where you're likely to get returns for your team. Forest have also got the best clean sheet odds with 46%, and then it's Man City, Fulham and Brentford. Southampton, just a 6% chance of a clean sheet. I mean, that would really be the biggest upset of the season if they somehow manage that. Leicester have got the lowest projected goals, which of course is why Forest have got the best clean sheet odds. Milenkovic, Aina, Williams all look great for this week. Lots of questions about captaincy, and as always in these videos we're going to look at the captaincy rankings. I've gone with Mbeumo number 1 myself. Like, he and Brentford have just been in such great form, and he's facing an Ipswich side with literally 2 clean sheets all season. 71 expected goals conceded, which only Southampton are worst in. He's averaged just under 13 points per game against the bottom 3 this season in Bumo. However, Wood home to Leicester is the go-to upside move like we discussed earlier. Obviously he and Forest have hit a bit of a bad run of form. He's got 1 goal in his last 8 games, so it feels a little bit risky, but it's really form versus fixture, isn't it? Leicester home's one of the best possible fixtures, so I really don't mind it, especially if you're chasing. De Bruyne's going to be more popular than Wood for captaincy, and he's in there as well, if we catch wind of a KDB start near the deadline. The first 2 will get 90 minutes, but yeah, that's not a certainty with KDB. But he's been really good lately, hasn't he? And he's on his farewell tour, so I don't dislike the KDB captaincy if we know he starts. Who are you going with this week? The captaincy widget on the FPL Focal app agrees actually this week. It's Mbumo 5 stars, Wood 4 stars, Salah, De Bruyne and Marmish all 3 stars. Does anyone fancy tracking the app's ratings next season to see how the captaincy widget gets on over the season? I'd be interested to see exactly how high the success rate is. So, who are the most transferred players around the world? It's De Bruyne number 1 this week with 280,000 new owners. He's actually the one player that I really feared not owning this week due to his popularity and effective ownership, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to captain him as well, which I guess is fair enough. Wissa's second, Vardiel, Wood, Cunha, Elanga and 8 Nori. We've not talked about Elanga at all actually in this week's content. He is obviously fantastic this week. For the final 3 game weeks overall, I actually like Shader a bit more at about that same price point. Saka's the most sold, even though they're out of the Champions League now, and Salah's second. I saw Salah even drop last night in price, so I guess lots are making that switch to KDB. Mateta, Murphy, Isak all being heavily sold as well. Mr. Health says, what will you do from May 25th to the new season? I actually always spend some time in the off season working on updating graphics for next season. If you actually go back through my videos through the years, you can actually see the improvements each season. And some of you probably won't know this, but before I started this channel for FPL content, I'd never used Photoshop or even edited a video, so it's been quite a big learning curve, but lots of improvements over time. The funny thing is as well, at the time of updating the graphics, I've always thought at the time I won't be able to improve this anymore, and then a year later, after the next version, I look back and it looks terrible compared to now. So I'll probably say the same next year compared to now. I really like how all the videos look right now, to be honest, but I'm sure I'll find ways to improve it more. But I don't honestly have any major ideas right now besides thumbnail redesigns, which are coming next season. If you've got any suggestions for new additions or changes to the channel, they're welcome below in the comments. Last question then. FPL Rated asks about the best remaining triple captain opportunities. I'll keep this one brief as I know a lot of you have used it already. But basically the 3 that I'd consider are Mbumo this week, Salah Gameweek 38 and Palmer Gameweek 37. As far as FPL Reviews projections, Palmer in Gameweek 37 is actually the highest of any player for the final 3 game weeks. Now don't forget, they're going to play against Man United's B team, and Brentford put 4 past them, didn't they? 4-3 it was. Next week Palmer's going to be a huge talking point, mark my words. Lots of you aren't keen on Palmer, I know, which is fair enough. He's not easy to get to either due to the price. Mbumo this week or Salah in the final week are great as well, go for either of those. Finishing up with a look at my team then, and transfer plans for this game week, and the rest of the season actually, we'll talk about it all. So my team is Martinez, Vardiel, Bern, Kanate, Sarr, Eze, Mbumo, Salah, Mateta, Isak and Marmoush. And on my bench it's Raya, Rogers, Saliba and Wan-Bissaka. My defence is just awful this week, so I really need my midfielders and strikers to chip in with points. The plan hasn't changed all week though, which is great. I hate it when there's a bunch of equally good options that pop up, but I'm feeling settled on Mateta to Wissa. I do recognise that Palace could put a few past Spurs, who have just played in Europa as well. I'll still have the midfield duo Eze and Sarr at least, and they've been better than Mateta for minutes. On paper, Wissa's better for this game week anyway in the final 3 overall, so it's a logical pick. If Marmoush doesn't start, then I've got a choice there. I can just start Rogers and stick with selling Mateta, or I could sell Marmoush for Wissa instead. I'm actually leaning towards selling Mateta regardless, even if Marmoush is leaked not starting, and I play Rogers against Bournemouth. I just don't like Palace's final 2, right? They've got Wolves Gameweek 37 just a few days after the FA Cup final, plus they've got Liverpool Gameweek 38, and it's going to be like 3 games in 7 days, so Mateta to Wissa regardless. Now, I've got exact money to sell Eze to De Bruyne for a -4. I don't know why I said exact money, I have like 0.5 in the bank. But I can't afford to sell Sarr, so it's only Eze that I can sell. Let me know what you think of that hit, Eze to De Bruyne. I would consider it more if it was Sarr or Selling, but Eze's just been class recently. We know that he's on penalties as well. And for a -4, when KDB's not guaranteed to start the final 3, it just doesn't sit quite right with me. And if you've been watching my content all season, the one golden rule that I've introduced to my team and transfers this season, which I've tried to stick true to, is don't pick players that are minutes risks. Like, I want nailed starters and whenever possible a 90-minute man. So really the only reason I'm considering it is to protect rank, because I'm like 7k and I'm expecting his ownership to be really high around me. It could be something frightening like 70-80%. The other side of the coin, of course, is maybe I get lucky and KDB only gets an assist against Southampton and Eze scores against Spurs. Then that's 4 points saved in terms of the hits saved and points gained in terms of what Eze's done versus KDB. Anyway, a bit of a ramble there. But lastly, just to run you through the final 3 weeks, this is where I'm currently at. So I'd love to have Palmer in Gameweek 37, but I can't get to him without hit either. I mean, maybe I'll consider it next week like I was with KDB this week, but my team looks rollable in Gameweek 37 anyway, really. So I've got Rodgers home to Spurs just before Spurs play in the Europa final. So yeah, in Gameweek 38, with 2 free transfers, I'd be looking at Bournemouth home to Leicester. So Marmish out for Evan Nilsson and Sarr out for Cliver or Semenyo. I'll actually have a great bench that week, so I wish I still had the bench boost to use, though there is often random rotation in Gameweek 38, isn't there, to be honest. We're going to be live here Saturday morning for a deadline stream and tracking early team news as well. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. I'll have a special guest on the stream for a bit as well. Good luck this game week. I hope you get a huge green arrow. See you soon for the next one.